Show podcast. Daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day of the work week. Late start today, and I knew it was coming. But yesterday I realized when I was podcasting on the Patreon that I had not mentioned that. And I usually like to have you well informed. I don't want you, because you might be like, where's our old pal EZ? And then you worry about me. There was actually one time when I did that years ago where I just didn't start the podcast and took a day off and with like no information, and everybody went crazy. And I was actually up north, and Stu McAllister texted me. He goes, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I am okay. What the fuck's wrong with you?" "Well, you can't just leave without saying anything. You got to inform people." And I go, "Oh, fuck, I'm an idiot." So I failed to mention that yesterday when I was free podcasting or anything like that. So I did my best to inform you. Today today's the day where the NFK has a scheduled ultrasound at 7:15 to look at his cirrhosis liver. He's really, really doing great, though. The fact that I just marvel at this guy stopping drinking like that. That's not easy to do. He has never looked back. I don't think he's an alcoholic at all. I just think he likes to drink beer. Hang on, coffee. You know how it is. So saved his own life by not drinking anymore. So I'm proud of him. These are all part of the litany of issues that would have killed him some time ago had it not been for the passing of his brother that he lived with and then him moving into here, this residence. The Queen of the Forest stipulation was, okay, well, yeah, our home is your home. Right, Eric? I go, yeah, of course. You see, you can't hesitate. If you hesitate, that sends a message. And you're going to lose anyway. If all these variables are transferred to another family, everything is the same. You got you, dudes, wives, and then brother-in-law who's, a little crispy around the edges, can't live alone, needs to move in, and if you're asked your opinion, if you go, okay, if you do that, that's all right, but that, and that pause, you're going to send a message. So you got to do what your old pal EZ does. Queen of the Forest says, "Kevy, you're moving in with us." Right, Eric? I go, yeah. Fuck yes. It's about damn time. I'm so happy. Now, he's part of the landscape here. So I can't imagine him not being here. I would never not want him here. But even if I was thinking about it, and then ultimately being supportive, that little pause, it can fuck you up. Don't do the pause. You're better off just committing. And then if something needs to be worked out later, you can maybe say, "Hey, I said that, but can we maybe chit chat about this in private?" You can do that. So the Queen of the Forest was like, okay, the only stipulation is you have to go to the doctor. You have to go to the dentist. And it's a damn good thing she put all those in place, because the things that we have worked on to fix up in our little fixer-upper project, the reconstruction of the neck, which was the degeneration, would have paralyzed him, which is why his limbs don't work like yours and mine, because he was slowly but surely strangling his spinal cord, which was compromised in his movements. And that's probably not going to come back, but still, he's okay. The mouth with the teeth that with more holes in them than Swiss cheese. We've been slowly but surely taking care of that problem. The latest, in fact, just the other day. Hey, Eric. Yeah, buddy. You making an appointment with Dr. Lee? Shit, fuck. I told it hard, and he always jams his finger in the mouth. He always sticks his whole hand in the mouth. Like I won't understand if he just says, my tooth is hurting me. The tooth is hurt. His finger's right in his fucking mouth. A tooth is hurt. It's a lack one, man. It's a lack of shit. Fuck. I'm like, okay, you know what? Right now. Make that call right now. This is yesterday. Call the dentist. I go, hey, NFK, another tooth is rotting. He's getting every time this happens, he gets yet another root canal with a crown on it. The guys gets a root canal like every other month. And this all stems from just flat out neglect. I am choosing not to wash my body. I'm choosing not to go to a doctor. I am choosing not to brush my teeth. That's how this man lived. We've mastered the shower thing. The shower is our regular thing. I can report that he is doing well. The teeth are being brushed because of he started to brush them. It wasn't until the pain started in his fucking mouth. So I call up yesterday and I make that appointment. And I'm explaining it to the lady on the phone. Now, I know what it is. He's told me. But he comes walking in the room while I'm on the phone. This is minutes after he just told me about it. And he comes in and he's like, it's this one. It's this one back here. He got his second finger in his mouth. It's this. And I'm like, yep. Yeah. Hey, I got it. I'm going to tell her right now. Okay. Walks away. So we got it. We got that going for us. Today, the ultrasound on the liver, I'm sure there will be no change from the last one. Cirrhosis is wild because it's, he was diagnosed a year ago, immediately stopped drinking. Once those cells start to change in your liver, and then once you have it, you can't unring the bell. And then every little bit of alcohol that passes through your bloodstream and touches your liver, it kills more cells. It's changed everything. And it's, like creeping bent grass in your backyard. And it just slowly destroys the liver. And she goes, never again are you to drink. And he goes, okay. So he's been doing great. I'm so happy. The blood work looks good. He's as fit as he possibly can be. We're driving home. He goes, hey, sticks his finger back in his mouth. All right, can you, I got to get some Orajel. It's hurting. Because the appointment's not till Monday for the dentist. His tooth is hurting. Can you get me some Orajel? Yeah. So I got home. I actually got home early. I could have started the show earlier, but I had to go buy fucking Orajel. And then he just puts it on. And you want to talk about Pooh Bear points. I see one of you on there wrote Pooh Bear points times 1,000. It was Chris in Buffalo. Boy, you're right, man. She wrote today, thank you for always taking care of my brother. I appreciate more than you know. I love you. Now, seriously. Now, I wanted to wreck it. I wanted to write, okay, does that mean we can try anal? Now, I don't really want that, but I just thought that would be funny. I did not, though. I just wrote, that's so sweet. Thank you for acknowledging. She says, also, now this is double points. She says, could you call Dr. Lee and make a dentist appointment for his tooth? And I already did. Okay. So I did it yesterday. Appointment is on Monday. All set. So I'm going to really have to fuck up today to lose any Pooh Bear points. Stand by. I got to drink this coffee. Maureen writes, my son's dear friend just died. He was an alkie. He had cirrhosis and all that goes with it. He was 35. Wow. Holy cow. That is, that's horrible and astonishing. Normally you can survive quite a long time. He must have had the thirst from a young age and really got after it. That's fucked up. Yesterday, holy fuck. We had a hell of a day. We got that free Patreon. We got the free podcast done. That was fun as it always is, like we're having right now. And then I went over to the YMCA. I met with Team Knuckle Dragger. Actually, no, I met with them the day before. I haven't seen them in a while. I walked up to those two and I go, hey, where you been? Where you been? And they just laughed. And because I knew I hadn't been there. Now, I again went on that treadmill. I posted a video of me on the treadmill doing the knees over toes deal. Now, I want to show it to you so that you can kind of understand exactly what is going on here. When that treadmill is not engaged and not on, like you can actually move the belt with just by pushing with your feet. And there's enough resistance that it provides. You have to put quite a bit of effort into it to move that belt, When you're doing it backwards like that, with all of the all that you're doing to make that work, you really are stressing and strengthening your knees. Okay, now I want to show this, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Everything's weird. All right, there it is. That's not what I want to show you. It's all fucked up. I've never really mastered this. I do have the same problem when I'm doing the Patreon podcast. God damn it. Well, fuck it. Anyway, that went great. I was able to, the first day I tried this, I was able to jog 0.25 miles. And then I stopped. I said, I don't want to push it. Yesterday, I did 0.35 miles. Awesome. Get done, race home, finish up getting my clips for who are these free beers and who are these Zanes. And then 5:30, we get after it. 5:30, and we went till after 8:30 of podcasting. All of it live. The first time we ever did Who Are These Zanes and Who Are These Free Beers live, but that was fun. So if you are a Tier 2 member on Patreon, you may have already seen it, but we unpacked a lot of shit on those shows. Absolutely a full-on, a full day of Patreon broadcast. And then the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, which was just so much fun. My God. The hits just kept on coming. Ryan writes, do you find that earning, let's say, a month's worth of Pooh Bear points can be undone as fast as the most minor fuck-up or misstep? At least I do. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like gas prices, how it takes forever for the gas price to lower. And that benefits us. That's the way Pooh Bear points are. But, after a month of it dropping from, let's say, $3.50 a gallon to $3 a gallon, then the next day, it'll go after that, after it drops to $3, 1 day's time, it'll go up to $3.60. That's how Pooh Bear points are. And it'll jump for the most minor thing, like it rained for 1 day in Texas. So all the refineries go offline. That's the most pure metaphoric example that I can give you about Pooh Bear points. Bust my ass to fill up the coffers. And then with just a glance, everything gets all fucked up. You just lost all your Pooh Bear points. Fuck! That's how it goes. All right. It is hot as hell in the Southwest. I keep hearing the great state of Michigan being referred to as an oasis state. And, all right. Death Valley, which is a spot in California, Furnace Creek is what it's known as, where because of the way the mountains lie and the way that portion of California is actually below sea level by like 300 feet, and I don't know what the fuck, it gets incredibly hot. The hottest recorded temperature ever on planet Earth was there. 134 degrees. It was set in like 1917 or 1918. Today, they're supposed to flirt with 130. 130. Considering that in Michigan, if you have a really cold spell where it's in the teens and then it pops up to 30 degrees, we're like, oh man, fucking warm. 130. On my oven, you can set the temperature at like that low to keep food warm. Well, not quite that low, but not much more. Holy shit. Phoenix, 117. Michigan, right now it's 65. We just had rain all night. We needed that. It was fantastic. I love it. We need a bunch of rain. It rains at night. Fucking great. Today's going to be awesome. Winters here have become, because of global warming, winters here are less of a problem in Michigan. And that's why this is just an oasis state. Michigan is going to be like Southern California in our lifetime. Like San Diego, like San Diego and anything on the shore is like temperate all year long. It's not too hot. It's definitely not cold. Michigan in our lifetime is going to be like San Diego. You watch. Your property values are going to skyrocket as everybody's going to be flocking, because if they don't, they're going to die. So fucking A, this is my plan. I am hoping and praying for more global warming. We really need to amp up our carbon footprint. We need bigger. I need you to run your lawnmower on the Ozone Action Day. And if we increase those greenhouse gases everywhere else, the temperatures are going to rise, and Michigan's going to be even more perfect than it already is. And then everybody, if they don't move to Michigan, is going to die. So the 9.5 million people that live here is probably going to like quadruple. And then I'm going to sell my house for about 8 times its value than it is right now. And right now it's at a good value. So I'm going to sell my home for millions of dollars, and then I'm going to go up north, even further north, where it's even more of an oasis because it's further north, and I'll build a house there. That's the plan. That is my retirement plan. So instead of saving for when you get old and your 401k, in order to ensure plenty of money when I get old, when I retire, when I get more old, I'm already old, it involves increasing our greenhouse gases to up the property value, so that when all these the rest of the states, there's going to be like 35 of the states where people cannot live. It'll be uninhabitable. Flooded, hot as hell, dust bowl, a low of 140. Fucking come to Michigan. It's 70 degrees all year long. You're going to love it. Some of this may be complete fallacy and nonsense. Ashley asks, when is Florida going to sink? I don't think it sinks. I think it just gets overwhelmed with water, as the sea levels rise from all this heat. No glaciers. We don't need the fucking glaciers. Come on now. All right. Boy, I'm concerned because I can't get my video to work today. That might fuck me up on the show. Let's see if we can try that again. I don't want to share that story yet. I want to share a different story with you. Damn it. No? This is embarrassing. So, Chris says, I just got a brand new AC from Joe Martinez. Bring on the heat. Oh, big time. All right. This is knees over toes. Audio check. Video check. Finally got it right. Here we go.
Toes, baby. Knees over toes.
That's what I do for 10 minutes. One more time.
Knees over toes, baby. Knees over toes.
That right there for 10 minutes is bulletproofing your old pal EZ's knees. Then I do these tibial raises where you basically just lean against the wall with your feet out and your heels together, and you bring your toes up towards you and hold it for like 3 seconds and bring it down. It strengthens this muscle on the front of the shin. Some of you may know the name Andrew Swofford. Swofford. I'm sorry, Anthony Swofford. Anthony Swofford is the same age as your old pal EZ, but he's much more of a man. Hold on a second. Darla, no. Swofford, at about 20, maybe a little bit before that, enlisted in the Marines. He then was deployed during the first Gulf War when the Iraqis invaded Kuwait, and we rushed in to help them, and we liberated Kuwait, the first Gulf War. Well, Anthony Swofford, his experience in the military, he wrote a book about it. Came out in the early 2000s. Bestseller. A ton of people read it, including a famous director, screenwriter. I don't know who the fuck came up with it, but the book was called Jarhead. They made a film out of it starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal played Anthony Swofford. This is a classic young man going off to war tale and how military service, especially wartime, can have an adverse effect on one's mental well-being. Book was a bestseller. Film was a hit. And off we go. The book is in libraries in schools. Some of the book is quite graphic, describing military activity. And you might have some of the parts are, I guess, could be described as dirty, which I don't know what happened along the way where we have to completely shelter kids from anything that might be sexual in nature. I mean, if you were to go back and look at the long history of books in our schools from decades gone past to now, there have been plenty of things that have been like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm reading this. And I say good. You know, these young people are getting to a point in the transitionary years where they're going to be making adult decisions. Who gives a shit if they read something that is reasonably adult in nature? It's not like these things were done to titillate, to actually arouse them. It's part of the story. Such is the case with a book like Gender Queer. I mean, that was not exactly the thing that I would want to see, but and very much an adult topic. But, I mean, people need to understand that young people, though they're young, they're being exposed to adult-like things all the fucking time. And I don't think that the answer is to give school boards and organizations the right to ban books. But here we are. Anthony Swofford found out, the author, that the Hudsonville, Michigan, the city I live in Ottawa County, schools have banned the book Jarhead. And he's pissed off. This actually happened in May, but I wasn't made aware of it till just now. And thank you very much for pointing me in the right direction on this story, Rebecca. But 3 of the school board members of the 7, I'm sorry. Yes, of the 7, 3 of them are influenced by Ottawa Impact. One was already on the board, and she's in lockstep. And then 2 more were supported by Ottawa Impact, and they won their seats. So Ottawa Impact is affecting our local county commission and our school boards. And if you were to look at all the area Ottawa County school boards, you'll see various people who are part of Ottawa Impact. And they're very bullish about having their way with curriculum and making sure that the bullshit that we hear about from Ottawa Impact is maintained now in our schools. So the school board has put together a, excuse me a second, there's a Darla issue. Hey, no, come here. They have a group, a panel of like parents and maybe other educators who, if a parent gets bummed out by a book, says, wait, I want you to review this one. And that happened with the book Jarhead. So they reviewed it and they voted 4-3 to leave the book on the shelves. But that's not stopping the school board. They decided to ignore that and pull the book Jarhead. That has led to Anthony Swofford publishing a piece in the Daily Beast about this exact thing. Culture warriors ban my memoir about being a young Marine. He writes, it turns out even straight white male veterans are not immune from this idea censoring madness. Hold on. I got to take care of something here. What is it? Okay. Sorry. Today's weird because I keep getting interrupted in the time. See, normally when I start the show at 8, Darla just goes to sleep, but she's wide awake right now and she's distracting me massively. So I apologize for that. Let me break down this article from Swofford about what has happened to him and how Ottawa Impact has prompted him to want to write this article for the Daily Beast. He writes, it was my first time. Hold on a second here. God damn it. Everything is fucking up today. I apologize for this. Okay. Damn it. He writes, it was my first time. The experience was not as sexy as the first R-rated movie I snuck into. Sorry, guys. Just one of those moments. Suddenly, I can't read the article, so I have to read it off of my phone. Let me just jump to this portion. In the last few years, the number of banned books has risen at an alarming rate. The targets of this dangerous trend have overwhelmingly been authors of color and members of the LGBTQ plus community whose books deal with issues of identity and equality. The kinds of books that might save a young person's life which I'm glad he wrote that. And then he says, as a straight white male writer who has written almost exclusively about the military and warfare, I might have thought my books were safe. But recently, in Ottawa County, Michigan, the Board of Education for Hudsonville Public Schools voted 4-3 to ban my book, Jarhead, from the high school library. Apparently, the place is a hot mess of MAGA intrusionists, an area traditionally very Americana, genteel, and self-styling in brand, but newly mired in the divisive politics that have seen popular and acclaimed books banished from library shelves across America. In the fall of 22, the MAGA insurgents on the school board introduced a new policy that's influenced by Ottawa Impact, allowing any school district community member to object to the presence of a book in a school library. A citizen apparently had Jarhead, my best-selling '03 memoir about being a Marine in the first Gulf War, in their Culture Warrior sites, and it was the first book to undergo the district's removal process. The objections included that the book was, quote, an extremely violent, vulgar, porno diatribe, which sounds like just the kind of book a teenager investigating war might need to read. The 7-person academic advisory committee made up of teachers, parents, and administrators read the book and unanimously recommended to the school board that Jarhead remain in circulation. But at a 2-hour May 15th meeting on the proposed Jarhead removal, the board voted 4-3 to yank the books from the stacks. Swofford writes, Jarhead had been checked out a mere 21 times in 20 years of circulation at Hudsonville High School. I have no idea who those young readers were, but I doubt that any of my content or language damaged them or compromised their morals. Most often denounced is the, quote, field fuck hazing scene, in which, for the benefit of gathered reporters while we were decked out in full nuclear, biological, chemical protective gear in 1990, we simulated rough gay sex on a number of fellow Marines. This bit of drama might be shocking to civilians, but to Marine grunts going to war in 1990, it was just another day at the desert office. And it's damn funny. It would be years before I understood the homoerotic nature of the hazing and the meta layers of meaning in terms of who, what, and why we were symbolically fucking. But over the years, many bright teenagers have offered me layered... All right, he has a word here that I have never seen before. This guy's wicked smart. Bright teenagers have offered me layered exegesis. I'll spell it EXEGESES. They've offered me layered exegesis. Exegesis. It's weird to say. I feel like I know this word, but I can't say it. Chris says that means an in-depth explanation. So I'll just use that. How does that sound? Over the years, many bright teenagers have offered me in-depth explanation concerning that scene, noting the sexualized self and group harm and release we are performing out of frustration, fear, and excitement, and in service of a carnal, combat-centric camaraderie. Yes, parents, it's homoerotic. But so what? So is Sesame Street. I don't know about that. Who knows? Who cares? Other complaints addressed by the committee and board were that the book was unpatriotic and offensive to veterans. Swofford continues, veterans who don't agree with my take on war and warriors are often staunch defenders of my right to tell my version of that most American of stories, a young man going off to war. Many veterans would be offended that someone took the liberty of being offended for them and banned the transmission of the ideas within the book's covers. Swofford writes, books, well, good books, are first and foremost ideas. Shortly after our founding as a country, racial equality became the most dangerous idea, engaging the body politic. This remains true today. But other dangerous ideas now apparently include voting rights, bodily autonomy, and the concept that there are more views than one concerning how and why America fights wars. Given that the U.S. is currently involved in a proxy war with Russia, something I've said many times, in which we have spearheaded all aspects of the Ukrainian war effort by providing huge amounts of cash, weapons systems, ammunition, intelligence, cyber warfare capabilities, everything short of traditional soldier boots on the ground, it seems like a good time to ensure student access to all points of view concerning warfare. The metronomical pace of America's conduct of armed conflict means that today's high schoolers will be in their 20s. Shit. Page just reset. Hang on, give me a second here. I love this article. I am so happy that Rebecca shared this. Fuck, where is it? Will be in their 20s when our armies, again, hit a foreign shore for another little war. When I started writing Jarhead, I had nothing about my war other than Rand reports. He says, I had read nothing about my war other than Rand reports, newspaper articles, and the various officer memoirs that invariably follow every conflict. I had modest goals for my first book. I didn't think about sales numbers or a movie option or foreign rights and invitations to international book fairs. I didn't even know those things existed. Still, heavily inhaling the fumes of pretension, I earned it at my MFA writing program. I wanted only to make art. I thought I possessed a number of unique and original insights about the making of young Marines and going to war and what combat does to a young psyche and soul. I thought that on most days I could manage to turn out a page or two of good sentences. I wrote the best book I could. I wanted my book to teach young people things about war that I hadn't been taught or hadn't wanted to learn about when I was a 17-year-old looking to escape a dull suburban life that felt like a prison. I wrote an honest book, and I thought that honesty would be the book's spine and help sustain it in the world. 3 more paragraphs. Thank you for bearing with me. I feel it's important. That 20 years later, a politically stacked school board can, over a matter of a few months and 1 2-hour meeting, cancel access to my work and the experiences of me and my fellow Marines feels deeply un-American. But perhaps now I have a new group of comrades, band writers, E.B. Zoboy, Raina Telgemir, Laura Stephen, John Steinbeck. The ranks will grow. The book bans will keep coming. Although, as in Ottawa County, Michigan, the banners like to play with language and call them removals because that must sound less restrictive. Make no mistake, they are banning books, but really they are restricting access to ideas. And when one small group of people ban a larger group of people's access to ideas, we are in for a closing of the American mind. What begins with banning books ends with a fire escape of constitutional rights ablaze, but the fire is already here on your block. My town, Hudsonville, Michigan, my county, run by psychopaths. This is what we have. And every day, this heats up even more. This community is becoming more and more the center of all that is wrong with America. article after article is being published about our community. And all that had to happen was this wild bunch of weirdos taking over and running roughshod through the commission and the school boards. I think it's everyone's fault in the lack of voter turnout and being asleep at the wheel. But I don't know if that's going to happen again. I firmly believe that the county is going to respond in kind. The people that have taken hold to the positions of power and are influencing the schools in ways that they shouldn't and influencing the county in the ways that they shouldn't, the time is coming. This too shall pass. I believe that. Aram asks, is Moss not pro-military? I don't know that. I have no idea. But I think trumping any of that would be the idea that the people that run school boards now, people that run the county now, are maybe a little bit drunk with power. And the idea that they can take a book like Jarhead, written by a white former Marine veteran, and they can go, oh, man, we got to ban this book. There's a part that's where there's like homoerotic shit going on when these guys were fucking around in the desert. Like what I just read. We must ban the book. Oh, my God. Stevie writes, this pisses me off so much. Hang on a second, folks. We're getting a phone call coming in. Hang on, stand by. I'm getting my technical equipment ready. Hello, welcome to the Eric Zane Show podcast. Who's this?
Big Fraud Zane, this is the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Mr. President, how are you?
Doing tremendous. Have you heard this wonderful news that the Ottawa Impact has banned Jarhead? You've heard this, I assume.
No, Mr. President, that doesn't sound like good news to me. What?
Oh, it's tremendous. It's tremendous. I think they ought to ban all books. You know, I think there should be maybe no books, except for maybe my book. I wrote maybe the best book.
Well, this is quite a coincidence. I didn't see this coming from you, Mr. President, because I mean, this guy is he's a legend. He's a military veteran, and these are all things you should like. He killed some of the bad guys. What's wrong with his book?
Well, I mean, maybe he killed bad guys. We don't know. I mean, we're going by his word, which is we don't know if it's a good word or a bad word. We don't know. You know, probably I would think Obama would have had something to do with probably pushing his books out. I have no idea, but it sounds like something crazy that would have happened during the Obama administration. And, you know, it's totally crazy, these military operations, by the way. I have documents about some of the best operations.
Oh, yeah.
I think those should be published.
Yeah, those were the ones that you unclassified, wasn't it?
Totally unclassified. They're so unclassified you wouldn't believe how unclassified they are.
And I think you described it as all you need to do is think it, and it changes from classified to unclassified.
Well, it's true. It's true. You know, thanks to your late show, I'm able to enjoy your program today. I noticed you're also talking about maybe Michigan being the future refugee climate or whatever.
Yes. All the rest of the nation is turning super hot, so we got everybody's gonna move here. It's gonna be fantastic.
I don't know about that. I mean, there's so much science, and you know how much I know about science that maybe says global warming, totally fake news. You've bought into the hyperbole, Big Fraud. Now you're out there spreading fraudulent information about climate change. It's terrible what you're doing.
So you think I should be banned, Mr. President? Am I giving out fraudulent information? I should not be. I should be asked to stop.
Well, I think you should be. I think you should totally be. I mean, you're always fraudulating around all this information about different things that are so fake. You've become part of the fake news media mainstream, and it's so bad what you're doing. It's so bad.
Okay, so you were listening, and you said, I gotta come in and fix Big Fraud. Put him on the right path, right?
Well, I mean, if you wanted to blame anyone, I guess, for climate change, it's probably Joe Biden. You know, his administration has done such terrible things. The wildfires, the tornadoes, the heat. definitely by all means, Joe Biden probably administrated all that himself. I mean, because we'd had such wonderful weather when I was president, you might remember.
Okay, so you're suggesting that the second he took office, he has wrecked the planet.
Oh, yes, he's turned on those solar panel farms and the windmills. Those windmills are terrible. I've told you about those before. They're terrible what they're doing to the environment. The birds, they get all confused. Terrible things happen when those windmills and solar farms are online.
Okay, so if you are elected, and by the way, being that you're facing an indictment right now and you've been charged, but if you happen to win, will that be part of your executive orders, tearing down the solar panels and the windmill farms?
Well, I think so. And we did so much in the first 4 years, which was maybe the best 4 years of American history, better than Lincoln, better than Washington. But, you think about the wonderful things that I did, destroyed NAFTA, Clinton. By the way, you talk about documents. He had the socks. Let's not forget about the socks. Clinton had the socks. And, George W., he probably he killed innocent people like Saddam Hussein.
Wait a minute. Saddam Hussein is innocent? Are you kidding me? He was a dictator.
He might have been a dictator, but you got to admit he was holding ISIS back. He was totally holding ISIS back. And George W. Bush, he came in there and said, I got to finish Daddy's little Gulf War. And he went in there and he totally de-escalated and destroyed an entire society.
You make a good point. I mean, when you think about it, I'm starting to sound like you. Yeah, Saddam did hold ISIS back. That's interesting.
Of course he did. And I had to go in and destroy ISIS.
Right.
I had to do it, of course. And I did such a beautiful job destroying ISIS, which is, really why we should ban books. I think that every book should be banned. I mean, Why do we even need to be bothered to read?
Right. All right. Now, what did you say about Clinton? Socks? What the hell were you talking about Clinton?
Well, of course, because Bill Clinton, of course, you got to remember blowjob Clinton. He went in there and he took things. He hid things when he left the White House in his socks. Look it up. Totally crazy.
His socks.
In his socks. He totally took things in his socks. I don't know. He might even had White House socks. He might have taken them. I don't know.
All right. So classified documents, socks, it's all the same to you.
It's totally the same. I mean, they move you out so fast, by the way, Big Fraud. They move you out. They put everything in boxes. I had so many things in these boxes. I had golf shirts. I had pants. And these documents.
The documents.
In there totally. I wasn't about to hand that over to the FBI.
No.
It's insane.
Mr. President, I got to run. I appreciate you listening at this late hour, and I'm very, very happy to have you here in attendance. You call me anytime, okay?
Of course, Big Fraud Zane. You're doing such a wonderful job. And don't worry about the books. They're going to be totally banned. You don't even need to worry about Jar. A terrible book, terrible movie.
Okay. Just hangs up again. Oh, that was a pleasant surprise. Well, there you go. That's what's up. It is a Thursday. Kyle from Dumpster Divers is going to be joining us shortly. But first off, a reminder that if you are enjoying the show on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, the only way to get the full show is on Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. So you go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or you download the Twitch app and then search Eric Zane Live. And then there I am. Hit the follow button. Then you'll know when I go live, and then you don't get interrupted, Facebook, because I'm going to interrupt it for Facebook. I'm going to kick you guys out because I want you to go to Twitch. It's simple. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or download the Twitch app. Search Eric Zane Live. You can, darken the screen and still listen. Run it through your Bluetooth if you want the show live. Some of you don't care. You get the show, the pre-recorded audio podcast, because this becomes that audio podcast on the free platform. But if you ever want it live, still, regardless, follow me, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Patreon is there for you if you need more to listen to and you want to support the show on ad-free, listener-supported Patreon. You can check it out for 7 days free. This is the perfect time to sign up because we just had our third episode of Who Are These Free Beers yesterday. I haven't yet made the audio of that available. I will very soon. We also did another edition of Who Are These Zanes? That was show number 30. And the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, all on Patreon. So you sign up at patreon.com/Eric Zane, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Or download the Patreon app and search my name and sign up for free. You don't need to even worry about it. You do have to put a payment form in because when that 7 days expires, you'll be charged. But if before that 7 days you cancel it, you're good to go. And I'm even doing this. So if you sign up, you could, if you want, immediately cancel it. And you're going to get the 7 days. But I'm banking on you're going to like it. So then you'll sign up. So whatever you want to do, try it for a few days. And if you're like, yeah, I can get behind this. I can support this. And just let it ride. $5 or $10 a month. And you get hours and hours of content every week. You can also subscribe by the year, and I will reduce it by 10%. Patrick just did this in South Carolina. What is $120 for a year for a Tier 2 membership is $108. What is $60 for a Tier 1 membership, which is all of the audio, is $54. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. So, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube.